Welcome.
Welcome, chismosos y chismosas.
And welcome back to
SipYChisme.
Ooh. And this is episode 8. 8. We got 2 more until, technically 1 more? Well, 2 more technically to episode 10. I'm excited for episode 10.
Big special announcement on episode 9. We'll go ahead and announce what we're going to do on epissot 9 for episode 10.
I'm excited.
I'm excited as well.
I'm keep saying it. I'm excited. I want to see how it goes. But yes, so before we get into what we're going to be talking about today, before we get into all the good stuff, all the achievement, all the everything, what we're going to do is, of course, we're going to do our little toast. So go grab your drink. So we'll wait.
All right.
Yeah, go grab your drink, go grab your man, go grab your snack, go grab your chips, go grab your this, go grab your that, whatever you need to be able to watch this video. This video.
This one.
And make sure you have your snacks for the other videos.
So you can watch
the past videos.
All the other videos.
And all the other videos. Yeah. But let's go ahead and get a drink. And let's cheers to a good conversation. Pump.
Oh, shit.
So,
that is strong mimosa.
Day drinking. So, today is going to be a little different. Today is not going to be where we're really, really hyped and we're laughing. I mean, there might be a lot of kiki haha, but I'm it's going to go more into like the not good sides. I mean, we are going to share what we've been through and everything. So we are going to get into a lot of trauma, a lot of triggers, just a little bit in that category. So yeah, it's not going to be as much of a, I guess you say, upbeat video. Because we did want to share a little insight, especially for people that are going through certain things and know that you're not alone, or people that have gone through things and know that, we can give advice and we can share our stories on how we dealt with it, how we're still dealing with it, and how we're going about to be able to move forward. And I wouldn't say get over things that you've gone through, but at least make it easier in your life to become happy and to be able to not hold that on you as you grow. So yeah, that's what we are getting into today.
Trigger warning, just warning now. We are going to be talking about some things that are very traumatizing. And if it does traumatize you, as in like, if it's something that triggers your trauma, I would recommend exit out the video. Please do not continue watching. We do not want you to get triggered at all whatsoever, but we are going to be talking about our triggers and our trauma. And like she said, we do know that there's people that can relate to our traumas and triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and get into the video and talk about it.
Yeah. And then also another thing, if you've been through similar situations or have gone through anything and would like to share of how your journey of healing happened, please comment them down below. That way someone else can read them and someone else can get advice from another person besides us. Maybe sometimes our advice won't help as much. Maybe someone else will be able to put their experience and what they think as well, and maybe it could help somebody out there. So fuck do we start?
Trauma.
It's like where can we start? I mean, of course,
first memory of trauma is where you can start.
Okay. So hold on.
It's deep trauma. Deep.
So as people, I mean, if this is the first video watching it, if you don't know, or if you know, we are sisters. So we somewhat do share some trauma together, little trauma bond. But but yeah, so there's certain things that, of course, we'll be able to relate with each other. So things that I say, she'll be able to agree. Things like that. Just a little backstory on that part. But I would say my trauma and my journey of, I guess you say, my triggers that I have now do start at a very young age. The far back I can go is probably, I don't even know what age. Only because I'm the type of person where, oh, excuse me, where my memories kind of just like wipe out. Like I'm one of those people where it's just like I don't remember my childhood. I I don't know if because it's trauma. I don't know if because just the way my mind works. I don't know if it's because like a brain thinking. I don't know what it is, but I don't remember half of the stuff that I guess you could say gone through, been through, or or whatever it was. So I don't remember half of the things. But I would say mine did start at a very young age due to a broken home.
Yeah.
Do you remember when yours started? Like your first memory? Since mine, I can't really say because it's like I can never actually remember the first thing.
Um, yeah. Growing up, seeing our parents fight a lot. Growing up before you were even born, seeing a lot of like horrible things as a kid.
Okay.
And it stays with you. It stays. Just seeing like all that has happened like to our like parents and stuff, like seeing
Uh-huh.
the oh, it's hard. But seeing like abusiveness, and and you seeing that as growing up, it takes a toll on you. It does.
Yeah. I mean, we did go through a lot of. I mean, not also just go through it, but we also watched it as well, where there was a lot of physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. There was it was just a lot going around in our household. So it was something that was it wasn't it there was more, I guess you could say there was more bad than good. I
And
mean,
then when
would
the
you
good,
agree?
yeah, and then when the good happened, like don't get me wrong, the good was good. Like
Yeah,
when
like
the good was
super good.
good, it was good. But when it was bad, it was bad. And coming from a home that was just, yeah, it was a lot of abuse, like you said, mentally, physically. It was a lot of abusive and verbally. And I think you take that on as, I can't say as an adult, I would say as like a teenager, you take that on. Because that's what my trauma goes into. My trauma goes in from childhood and thinking it was okay to going into mid teenage years thinking that it was okay. And that if somebody did that to you, it was okay
Yeah,
because you saw it all your life.
yeah. I mean, of course, um, seeing certain things. I mean, I think this just goes for I think anyone. Seeing certain things as you grow, you start to think that that's okay. I think in
Yeah.
every kind of abusive, no matter what type of abuse it is, any abusive household always has where at one point in your life you kind of gravitate towards it because you think it's okay and you think it's like okay, that's normal. Like
Yeah.
I grew up like that because
It's
it's
normal.
normal.
Every household has it,
Yeah, like
And it is true that, even when we were kids and we would go to like our aunts and uncles' house, we would see it. It would happen too. I would go to my friend's house and I would see it with their parents. So it's like for me
yeah,
it was so
it's like oh, like
normal.
this is how it goes. Like this is every household. This
Yeah.
is
If there's
normal.
no yelling or screaming or like
Something's
someone
wrong,
getting in trouble, like
or they're weird.
yeah, it's
Like
weird. It's weird if you're in a household that is very quiet and you guys are all like kumbaya and shit like that. Like it's weird. That's how I grew up. I grew up that was weird because in my household it was chaos all the time. It was
Mhm.
always yelling, screaming, someone was always crying or someone was, and then when, like I said, there was happy moments. I'm not discrediting the happy moments at all.
Mhm. Yeah, we had a lot of good times. There was a lot of times that it was like sometimes it'll go months of being like really, really good.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it'll go months with being really, really bad. Like sometimes I think as we grew up and we got older, I believe that's when it got worse in some points of it. Like
Yeah.
I mean as young as me as far as I can remember, like little bits and pieces, when we were young it wasn't as bad. It was like a here and there thing. It was like, oh, they're fighting and this happened and that happened on top of that and this and that. And then as we got older it became where it's like, oh, what, but if you don't do this or if this is not done or if like any noise are made or anything like that, it's like hell break loose. So
Or if you didn't wake up early.
yeah, like if
It
you
was on
were,
eggshells, walking
yeah,
on eggshells. Again, our parents, they raised us to be who we are now, and then we also had to raise each other.
yeah,
So it's a 50-50. Like, I'm not discrediting our parents at all. I'm not saying that our parents were like these horrible people, because they weren't. Yes, they have their flaws where, they fought. Then, when we would get in trouble, it wasn't the best punishment. But I understand their generation came from that type of generation where it was, all right, beat the shit out of your kid because they did this.
yeah. And I mean,
But there's an
like
extent to it.
yeah, like she said, it's it went from generation to generation, and of course at some point it does become where it's like, okay, this generation shit needs to stop. Like
Yeah,
like
you need to put a
it
stop to it.
stops here. And sadly that wasn't, as being children, that wasn't our generation.
No.
But moving forward, to where now I have kids, like I have a kid, I feel like that's where it stops.
Yeah, you're the end of that. Not just you, but like, I guess even in my generation, like when I have a kid, that that ends. There's different type of punishments that you can do that don't have to involve beating your kid. Don't get me wrong, slap in the hand is okay. If they
Yeah,
eat
no, like
something bad or they talk back to you, give them a little pop in the mouth. That's fine.
There's a good discipline. Like if you're gonna discipline your kid, discipline them correctly to where it has nothing to do with bruises or red marks on them or
Correct.
other things where it's just like you take things away from them, and I'm talking about just in general, like because there's
Video
some,
games, phones, like if they like to paint, take away their paint stuff. Like,
yeah, like
take away their toys.
I mean, there's to an extent of what's good parenting and what's not good parenting. And of course, we're not going into the parenting, style of how
Yeah.
you compare your children. We're not going to say that because everyone parents their children differently. Everyone has their own opinions. Everyone has their different type of household. Everyone was raised different. So you're going to either fix how you were raised or you're going to continue because you like the way you came up.
Yeah.
So, but the main thing is that, trauma is a lot triggering now. I feel like now it's a lot more spoken and it's more where people are not afraid to put their trauma on the internet and say what they went through and what they did or how they healed or what happened to them. Like it's very open now.
Yeah.
But as kids, especially with me, like when I was a kid, that wasn't talked about.
No.
You couldn't talk about that.
No.
Like it was something where just like, why would you want to talk about
If you
something like
talked
that?
about it, it was more of like what happened at home stays at home.
Yeah. Or like if you have a close friend and they tell you, oh, well, my parents do the same thing. They fight, they argue, they do this, or I see my cousins and they do the same thing. And it's
Yeah.
just like, you see it all around. So of course there's no point of talking about it when
That person's going through it too.
yeah, like when you're around and you're like, oh, well, this is normal. Everyone goes through that.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to tell you exactly in detail what happened, but knowing that, oh, your parents fight too, or you have an uncle or this and that do the same thing, oh, then that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
But with my trauma is a lot of, my trauma is different. And I would say my trauma is completely different from hers, because it's just like I went through things that she didn't go through, and she went through things that I didn't go through.
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and speak of what she went through, because things happen completely different.
Yeah.
So with my trauma, it goes into where I received a lot of mental and verbal and emotional abuse. And some people might not think, oh, that's not a thing, or oh, you're just soft, or you're just this, and you couldn't take a wannabe joke. Like, no, that's not the case.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. That's not how it is. Like, that's not what emotional and mentally abuse is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like when, I'll give an example. It's when someone says they love you and they care about you and you're this and you're that, and you're like, you feel all that love, but then a few minutes later they're like, you're a piece of shit, you're this, I don't want you, don't be next to me, da da da. That is some type of abuse, because you're just like, you're fucking with my head. Like, or it could be vice versa, where they talk so much mess about you, or they say horrible things, and they turn around and and then they say all these nice things, and you're just like, okay, what do I believe? What do I not believe? What do I do?
Yeah.
So for me, that's what I grew up on. And it was a lot of, if you do this, I'm gonna attempt to do this, and or I'm gonna attempt to hit you, and and not actually hit you. Like, it's just the terrifying,
the tactic of scaring you. Yeah.
So, growing up and living that, of course, that did affect the partners I had as I got older.
Yeah.
It did affect who I was drawn to and how I was treated. And I was like, wait, sometimes everyone's different. Sometimes you can snap out of it, and I can speak for myself. When I started growing up and I started seeing that my relationships weren't real, or weren't like what they were supposed to be, it got to a point where I was like, oh, I don't want this. Like, and I was able to snap out of it and kind of be in a way where it's like my mind went to, whatever I saw growing up is not what it is. Like, that's not what I'm supposed to get. That's not what I'm supposed to receive. That's not how I'm supposed to feel. That's not the way I'm supposed to be treated. So it did help to where I kind of, I guess I guess you could say, like, raised myself in a way to where I was able to mature myself in my own way, and kind of just not have like a, how do I say, like
like that mindset.
No, like a role model.
Oh.
Like, I didn't have a role model growing up. I didn't have someone that I looked up to. I didn't have something where it was just like a lot of fantasies. It was just a lot of like, oh, I dream to have this in my life, or I dream to have that in my life. And I just try to push myself enough to where I got that. And yes, there was a lot of obstacles. Yes, there was a lot of things that I went through, to where it was just like, I knew what was it and what was not. Mm-hmm. And some people can't go through that. Some people can't pull themselves out of their traumas. Some people can't, do that. So, some people go to therapy. Some people confide in other people. Some people do drugs. Some people linger to where they can't be alone, or they want to be alone, or they do something drastic in their lives where it just pulls them. Some people need help, some people don't. Some people need a whole team around them, and some people need to be by themselves. Some people also have the opposites, where they have a whole team and they don't want it, or when they had by themselves and they're like, I want more people around me. So I would say like just trauma in general, triggers, anything like is just a lot. Like it just depends on how you take it in and how other things that you the environment around you and how you look at it and how you go about it. But then I mean I'm pretty sure other people have different say so's about it. I'm pretty sure people are like, well, that's not the case and that's not how I'm speaking on myself. I'm speaking on what I went through. I'm speaking on how I guess you can say I mean I'm not saying I'm healed. I'm not saying that I'm just this big better person and I'm completely okay and I don't have nothing in my childhood is just like behind me. Like no. Like I go through things throughout, still now where certain things are triggering. Like one of my big triggers due to my childhood and due to me growing up was that I couldn't shower if people were awake or if there was like a loud noise or if there was like a bunch of people in the house. I had a shower when I knew that everyone was asleep or I knew I was home by myself or where there was no noise that was going to be made or me knowing that okay, music is playing, I know who's home, I know who's there, like I know no one's coming and this and that, like no surprises, no anything, like that was one of my big triggers.
Yeah.
And the way I found out was that one day I was showering during the day and I don't know who it was, but someone was on the phone or someone had screamed something. And I literally was like, still soap, everything on me, turn off the water. And I just sat there. And I was just like, what's going on? Like, I just froze. But I couldn't keep showering because I'm just like, I need to know what's happening. Like, I need to know if I need to get out and go help or get out and do something or where it's like I have to move quick. Like I didn't know. And then I realized it was I don't know what happened, but it was I think someone was on the phone or someone was talking to someone and I had even peeked out and was like, okay, everything's good because everyone's talking normal, nothing crazy is happening, and no one's fighting, no nothing. I don't know how long it was. I want to say maybe it was like it felt like an hour that I was just like sitting and waiting, but it probably was less than that. I don't know until I finally got back and I was able to finally get up and get back in the shower and finish what I was doing. So it was like that's how I knew that I was like I have triggers. I have certain triggers. Like there's certain times where um I can't have things thrown at me. I can't have I can't hear people arguing. Like there's certain things that I cannot. I mean, yes, I'm working through them. Yes, it's getting a lot better now that I'm getting older and now I'm in a better environment. I'm hit, somewhat still on this healing journey. I'm at that point now,
Yeah.
so it's like it's not as bad, but as also since everything's been closed in and I don't remember half of my childhood or I don't remember a lot of the bad times. I do remember bits and pieces, and I do know a lot of the bad ones are still there. Like it's more of just like a picture kind of memory where it's like I just see bits and pieces. But as I get older, I realize that a lot of stuff is coming through in a way, like emotionally, um, and realize that certain things are triggering, and I didn't even realize that they were because I did go through a point in my life where nothing triggered me, and I was just like fine.
When you were like in your teenage years, did you have any triggers that were not just home, but were also like on the outside?
Yeah, I actually was. I think I became one of those kids that I always had earphones in.
Okay.
Like I couldn't. Like I guess like not like going through the busy streets. I was always looking around. I was always like very closed in. I was very nervous to be outside in the world, but then at the same time, I wanted to be so free. Where it was just like I don't want to go home. Like I want to just I want to be outside. Like I want to be able to just stay out here as long as possible. But then I also was the type where it's like I gotta have my earphones in. I gotta be playing music. I can't interact with people. I can't. Like I was very closed in. And then it became that's how I was throughout me being from like more of like high school times, where it's like I wanted to stay after school. I wanted to go do things. I wanted to stay out. I needed I have a curfew. Okay, I'm gonna stay out until that curfew and be at the door at the time that my curfew ends.
Yeah.
And be at that last mark as lucky as possible that I don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I did have that as well. So like I said, there's certain things I do remember and there's certain things I don't. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if someone's telling a story and I'm like, oh wait, I do remember that. But me personally to be like, oh, someone comes and be like, tell me about your childhood. I can't tell you I don't remember how young the memories start and where it ends or what time was. And it's just like, it's kind of just all over the place. Like my brain is kind of just like a mush of just memories. So it's like if she tells me a story of like, oh, do you remember this time? And I'm like, give me a little bit more details, like, or tell the story and I'll let you know if I remember.
Yeah.
And by the time the story, I could be lucky that the beginning of the story, I'm like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Or she could be done with the story and I'm like, and something like a small little detail, like, I now remember.
Yeah.
Like, I remember exactly what happened. So it really is just like a lot of, I don't know, it's confusing for me, but I've just learned to just move forward, heal as I can heal, and just continue going and just finding myself, being around people I love, closing those, how do I say, like those chapters of like trauma or like just bad things, like closing that chapter and be like, okay, that was that. I've grown from that. I've accepted it. I understood it. I know why it happened. I know how it happened. I've talked about it. I've done what I needed to do, and I don't need to do it anymore. Or there's times, there are some times that I'm like, wait, no, I still need to talk about it. Like we still need to sit down and have a conversation because I need to know why this happened. I know why it was done. I know why this person didn't do anything or what it was. There's times I do need to have those conversations, but I'm not like I need to do it now. Like I do on my own time. I do it when it needs to be done. And if it never happens, it never happens. And that's just that I can't close that chapter.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I've come to understanding on that was my past. And I accepted it. But that's not going to put me to who I am now and make me do certain things that I feel like I need to do to someone else because I went through it. Like that's not what I'm gonna do. Yes, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna tell you why I react to certain things, why certain things I don't like, or certain things that I like certain things done a certain way, and I'm gonna tell you the reason, and hopefully maybe you understand.
Yeah.
So that's how I live now. And of course I have an amazing family. I love my family. Yes, it was a lot to do with family, as we grew up, but at the end I've accepted that's who our family is. And for me, I've grown to like family's everything. And we've gone a lot better from how things are. I mean, yes, everyone still has their things. Everyone still has their stuff that they still need to go through, or they're just not going through them. And that's okay. And I feel like when people say, oh, it's trauma bonding, I feel like that's, in a way, sometimes that's okay.
Yeah.
Because like you're laying it out, you're talking about it, you're finally talking about it. You're finally getting the answer that you might have been missing that was bugging you. And sometimes that helps.
Yep.
So yeah, like I love who I'm surrounded with. I love my parents. I love my brothers and sisters. I, I couldn't have asked for it any better how it is now, knowing that back then I never thought we were going to be here at this point. So I cherish what we all have together now and how we're growing as a family, because I never in a million years thought we were going to be at this point. I thought we were just going to probably never talk to each other again and just be completely separated.
Yeah.
Or someone's doing this
Like
and
our
someone's doing that.
parents, siblings and stuff.
Yeah, where it's like well, yeah, we're not close to a lot of our family, but people that we lived with and people, mainly our siblings were still close enough to where it's like we're lucky.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm that's my side. I said a little bit, I said a lot. It didn't say much, but it's a little hard to talk about. It is. It's hard to speak on a lot of things that we gone through and we seen and we experienced. But first time talking about it and actually knowing that this is going to be going on social media, family is going to see this.
It's hard.
It's hard to put all the details out.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe one day we'll get the courage to actually speak on everything. But excuse me. But I mean, that's a sneak peek on my end.
That's right.
Now to you.
Wow. After that, no. Okay, well, let's go to me. I'm not. It's a lot. Sorry, I'm a little sleepy, but I think it's just mimosa, to be honest. It's supposed to wake me up. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, like my trauma comes from like when I was younger as well. Especially like seeing like the abuse and all of that, but also getting SA'd and not being able to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then being able to talk about it and being able to say something. And then going through court.
Yeah.
For it. It was like at a very young age, only I think it was like 8 years old, going through court for that. And it's very traumatizing because then you're just like, you can't trust family either.
Yeah.
And it was hard, and because that person had kids, their kids were not allowed to hang out with us anymore. Mm-hmm. Their kids weren't allowed to come over anymore because I said something. And then we couldn't talk to them until our adult years, until we all got together and actually talked within each other. Because, when parents don't talk, they don't want the kids to talk either. Yeah. So it's like, it sucked. Then, still going through the fights and the trauma at home, I also had to go through it on the outside as well, on like going to school and stuff like that. For me, my school was like my escape zone as well. Mm-hmm. It was like the escape from home, or going to a friend's house, or going to our cousin's house. It was an escape to not have to be home, to not have to be at home seeing all of that, seeing all of the like just the shit talking and the throwing things, and then the physical abuse, the mental abuse, the having to wake up early, having to make sure that
the house is clean.
The kids are not making a noise. The kids are okay. The kids are changed. The kids are showered. The kids are going to bed on time, mm-hmm. And having to do that as a young age and doing it for all of you guys. Me, from my perspective, since I was the oldest one, and it's 6 of us, it's 6 kids, that, I had to make sure that you guys were all quiet, and like make sure so I don't get in trouble, or so you guys didn't get in trouble, and mind you, we have 4 brothers, and they loved wrestling. They loved football. They loved soccer, basketball. They loved all sports. So they were so hyperactive. They were so active even
I mean,
at
they were
9 o'clock
boys.
at night. They were active.
Yeah.
And we didn't care. Like we were like, okay, that's funny. Like
I
the
mean,
wrestling, and it was funny, and we would like mess around. And then they got to a point where like if our parents were not in the mood or they were fighting or like anything like that, it was like, okay, we have to be quiet.
yeah, it was like, I think it was just more of like we went from trying to be kids to having to be in charge of the house.
Yeah,
It went from where it's like,
we're kids and got our childhood like kind of
right,
in a way taken away from us.
yeah,
Then when I got it, like I said, when I got into like high school and stuff like that, well, actually middle school, I started seeking. My thing was this was my, I guess, my trauma response to everything was seek for love for someone else.
yeah,
Find someone to love you. So
yeah.
that's what I did. And I was getting into relationships at such a young age. I
Mhm.
was 12 years old going out with a boy that was 3 years older than me. And my
Yeah.
parents knew about it because they met him. And, they let
Mhm.
me be with him for a little bit. And then, it got to the point where he wanted to have sex and he wanted to do this and wanted to experience stuff. And I, no. And then I got heartbroken from there. And my dad was like,
Excuse me.
you see, that's what happens. And it was just like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, that happens. So that was
Yeah.
another trauma of getting your heart broken at such a young age. So then I was like, I don't want to date anybody. And then I did start dating someone else. And it wasn't it was okay, but then when we got into high school, they became popular and started cheating and started doing dumb shit, and it was just like boom, another trauma. So then I decided after that person I wasn't going to date anybody else.
Yeah.
Like I was done. And then I met a girl, and she was cool, don't get me wrong, like we dated for like a few months, and then it kind of put me in a position where I didn't feel comfortable. So I
Yeah.
had to end the relationship. Not comfortable with family or anything like that. Comfortable at school because I was not comfortable being a lesbian yet. So I
Okay.
was not comfortable doing that. So that was another trauma that I had of, oh my God, what if the whole school finds out?
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm going to be this big fucking person that everyone's going to hate. So that was another trauma thing that I had. And so then I ended up dating this guy, and he was bisexual, and we were
Mhm.
dating for a little bit. The rocker guy was pretty cool. Um, he actually is the one that got me into, which I know this video is not about addiction at all, but he
Yeah.
he did put me into alcoholism. I
Mhm.
was only 15 years old,
Yeah.
and I was addicted to, well, you can say I was an alcoholic. I drank vodka all the time. I drank vodka in water bottles. My mom saw me super drunk and was terrified because I had alcohol poisoning for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Like it was so bad. So that's another trauma thing.
Yeah, that was bad.
But I was seeking to get out of the situation from home because it was so bad at home. And we just got a little brother. He was just born, and it was
Mhm.
just like, it was just so much, and I was trying to find myself. But at the same time, we had our parents telling us like, you can't date, you can't have a partner, you can't have this. If you do, you're gonna have sex, and then you're gonna be a whore, and then you're gonna be this, and then you're gonna get pregnant, and then you're gonna be a disgrace to the family, you're gonna be a disgrace to your siblings. So it was just like having that being told to you, and you being the oldest, it's a lot of freaking pressure. So it puts you into a bubble where you just want to hide stuff.
Yeah.
You want to hide things. You want to be like, okay, no one's going to know nothing about me.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be in this bubble that no one's going to know anything, and I'm not going to say anything. So I didn't. I didn't even tell my friends anything.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would ditch school. I would go drink. I would get super drunk, so drunk, and then I would try to get so sober before having to go home. And if it wasn't that, I would go home, go straight to sleep, and wake up the next morning and do it all over again.
Yeah, that did happen a lot. I feel like I mean, sorry to cut you off, but I think that was like, as everyone got older, that's how things were. It was like, we get up, get dressed, go to school. And a lot of us went to school that was far. We didn't go to school close
I was
by.
the only one that went to high school like down the street.
Yeah, but it was like, you left so early in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, it was like early in the morning, everyone up, everyone at the house.
Yeah.
Like, we were all out the house before even 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And
well, I had to leave the house because my classes actually started at 7:45, and I had to actually be at school by like 7:30, 7:40.
That's what I'm saying.
To eat lunch and stuff. But I wasn't doing that. I was going to school because mom had to go to work early. So mom would be the one dropping us off at school.
Yeah.
I would go to school, go inside. I would go eat my breakfast. Sorry, mom. I mean, I know you probably know. Sorry, dad, if you're seeing this. But yeah, I used to leave the school. I used to walk right out. The Charlie used to see me and I'll be like, I'll see you later. And he'll be like, okay, you know that you're going to regret leaving, right? And I'm like, and I would go to the skate park. I would go over here. I would go to the trap house where the parents weren't home and they had like a liquor cabinet and we would get super fucking drunk and honestly play video games. There was even a time that I sat with all my guy friends and I walked into the house and they were watching full on porn, and they were doing coke, and I didn't do coke. But I walked in and they gave me a vodka shot and I right away I drank it. I was like, all right, cool. And then I got to the point while they were watching the porn and shit like that, they were making fun of the penises on TV. That's what they were doing. And then they started taking out their own and measuring themselves. I walked out.
It's such a dude thing.
I walked out because I was just like, this ain't for me. And I don't know what they're trying to do because it felt weird. So I walked out. I said, I'm going to leave because my mom's on her way or whatever the case was. And I actually wasn't waiting for my mom. I would walk home or I would skate home. Well, it also got to a point where the same group of guys that I would hang out with all the time, I'm talking about every single time. So I don't know if I actually told you this story.
I don't know.
Maybe not. But we had to, we got on the bus and we went all the way on the other side of town. And there was a bunch of girls, there was a bunch of guys, like we were all hanging out. And they were friends. The guys that were there, I knew every single one of them from high school, like every single one. The girls, I knew probably half of them. And they were girls that they were talking to and stuff like that. And they did not see me in that way, shape, or form. Mind you, this is the ex-boyfriend's friend group. I was friends with him. I just wasn't in a relationship with him anymore.
Okay.
This was the time that I wasn't in a relationship with him. I was single. I wasn't dating anybody. Well, let's just say I got SA'd. Like fully SA'd. Like at the party. At one of the parties. All I remember, and no, that was a different time because you're probably thinking of the other time. No, that was a different time.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was really happening. Oh, I got something in my eye. Sorry. And no, I'm not crying. Trust me. I've healed from that and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all of that. Not okay with it, but I'm like, I'm okay to talk about it without getting emotional or getting mad or getting pissed about it. So all I remember is kind of it going in and out, and we were in a garage, and I just remember one guy on top of me, and then I remember these people I knew personally. These people, they were my friends. They were my brothers. I would actually call them my brothers. I had one that was literally in between me. I had another one that was literally filling up all up on me while he was doing his business. I was literally like pushing them away, kicking them, trying to fight them off, but I was so drunk. Like it was weird because that day, I remember clear as day.
Was it the
I drank
house?
one shot.
Was it the house one?
This was this was actually the this was the second, the first house one.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And this one was all the way on the other side of town. This was not at that person's house.
Oh, then never mind. I don't know.
It was not at that person's house because I'll get to that one because that one's another traumatizing story with a best friend. So with this one, this was not best friend. This is with a group of friends that I know, blah, 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 blah. I already said that. Well, this guy is full doing what he was doing. The other guy touching me while he's pleasing himself. I'm pushing them away from me. I'm kicking them away. I'm fucking trying to fight for my life, literally. I get up and I remember it kind of just like, I get up and they're like, hey, are you okay? Like if nothing just happened. Hey, are you okay? Are you all right? Do you need me to walk you to the bus stop?
Crazy.
I can walk you to the bus stop so you can get home safe. Dead ass.
What the fuck?
Got walked to the bus stop by literally a group of like 15 guys. Mind you, these guys knew I was not interested. No, I was not interested in them at all. I did not like any of them. This was the time that I didn't want to be in a relationship with nobody. I wasn't having sex. Like I wasn't nothing. Just putting that out there because a lot of people like to blame the woman or like to blame the situation or like why'd you put yourself in that.
Yeah.
Those guys were my friends. That's the problem. They were friends. They were people I trusted. This wasn't the first time I drank with them. This wasn't the second time I drank with them. I had drank with them for like a whole almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's like I knew them personally. Like I knew their freaking moms. Like that's how much I knew their siblings. I knew their moms. I knew their girlfriends. Mm-hmm. I knew their partner. Like I knew them. Well, that was a traumatizing experience. So I said, fuck that. I'm never going again to any of their houses, any of their parties, nothing. So I didn't. I honestly did not fucking go. Well, I was going through, I ended up dating that guy again. It was a weird relationship between me and him. We ended up getting together for like I say a month. I would say it was just like a month because it was so brief. Mm-hmm. I remember saying like, sure, we can try it out. I just can't be around your friends. And I did not hang out with him with his friends. I did not do any of that. He called me one day. I was in cheerleading practice. He said, hey, I'm super drunk. Come pick me up. I didn't have a car, so I'm picking him up to take him to the bus stop, literally. So I pick him up, and while I walk into the house, it's a full-on orgy. Everybody is doing everybody.
So disgusting.
Walk all the way to the back, and I'm like, hey, where's blah, blah, blah at? And they're like, oh, he's in the room with this girl named Kitty. Kitty was a whore of the high school, literally. I'm going to put her out there because she knows that she was. Because she slept with everybody. Everyone.
Yes.
Literally everyone. She has gotten caught with a janitor. She has gotten caught with fucking varsity captain. She had got caught with everybody while I was in high school. Like she was literally the definition of open legs, open spring. Literally, like she was. Yeah. So I walk in there and he's full on getting it on with her. Full on. While she's cutting his fucking chest with a blade. And licking it. Okay? That's what's happening while I walk in. I said, oh, hell no.
Oh my God.
I walk out. He's running behind me. And he's like, please don't leave me. I need to go to I need your help. Blah, 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 blah. And then she comes running out. Then the girl that he cheated on me with the first time is coming out with him too.
Excuse me.
Jesus Christ. Is coming out with him too. And she goes, I didn't know you guys were together again. So I was like, you know what? Fuck both of y'all. I was like, I'm going to make sure y'all get on the bus because y'all drunk, but that's it. So I did. I made sure. See, I'm not a horrible person. I still helped them get on the motherfucking bus. Well, that's how that situation happened where I broke up with that person, and it's part of the story, I promise. I told my best friend at the time. She was my best friend from middle school. I called her. I said, this is how I went. Hey girl, he cheated on me again. We broke up. I need a girl's day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, girl, come to my house. I'll make sure we get a bottle of vodka.
Okay.
All right, girl. I'm gonna get fucked up. Me too. I'll tell my parents that you're gonna come over, maybe sleep over. Yeah, no, I can't. But we'll come over. I'll come over. Don't worry. Mind you, it was only me coming over. Me and her. That's it. Her house. Me going to her house. I get to her house. Oh, motherfucker. I just hit my knee really hard. Oh, fuck. Lighting up the mood. Oh, fucking shit. So I get to her house and she tells me that not to be worried, not to be scared, but she invited someone. And I was like, who did she invite? So I'm like, okay. So I look and it's one of the guys that used to hang out with us with my ex. It was his friend group. One of the guys from his friend group came over. And I was like, I really don't want to hang out with like anyone besides you. I wanted to just kick it with you. So she was like, we'll just get a little bit drunk. Don't worry. He's the one that bought the drinks for us because he has a fake ID and blah, blah, blah. Because he did. He had a fake ID. So he bought us 2 bottles of vodka, and it was the like TSSK, some shit like that. Like, it's a really cheap vodka that gets you fucked up. So we drank it with orange juice. I kid you not, I remember just drinking one fucking cup. One cup. All I remember is drinking 1 cup of it. And I kind of remember bits and pieces. I remember us like being on a couch and we were like singing to a song. And I remember another piece where we're dancing on the floor, which I felt like it was such a good time. And
drug your ass.
I felt, now I'm on a bed.
Drugs.
And now I'm doing this. It's like coming in and out. Like it's like going like this. Like literally. That's how I'm seeing. Like it's coming in and out. Like black, then I can see. Then black, then I can see. It's going like in and out. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I see him ripping a condom. I thought he was just putting me on the bed because I was too drunk. So I thought he was like laying me down to like, you know, hey, like calm down, you know, relax, like, you know, how do you say it? Like sober up, type thing. So I thought he was gonna sober me up. So I remember him, him taking out a condom and putting it on himself. And I even said, like, what are you doing? And I even kind of like try to like get up. And he was all like, oh, nothing. I'm not doing anything. Are you okay? Like, is everything okay? Talking to me like nothing's happening. Like talking to me like if I was hallucinating everything.
Yeah.
And then I hear my friend giggling and laughing. And her laugh was it was annoying as fuck. It was really annoying. And I heard it and I was like, where is she? And I see her right here and she's like, hi, how are you doing? Are you okay? And she's like leaning on my shoulder. And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just really tired and I think I'm really drunk, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I kept saying that. And then I like black out again, and then I wake up again and I hear her shorts are on too tight. I can't take them off. I can't unbutton them. And I can feel like the yanking of my body,
Uh-huh.
like like lifeless body, just like I can feel the yanking, and I feel like I'm just like, what the fuck? So I wake up. I have my shorts on. I have my shirt on. I have my clothes on.
Uh-huh.
But I see him like struggling to pull my pants off. Like he is trying so hard where I can hear her say, just leave it alone. It's okay. And I'm like, okay. And then I don't see them in the room anymore. The door's closed. I'm by myself. I have my pants on, but my button is unzipped. Like
Mm.
my buckle is undone.
Yeah.
But it's like they couldn't take them off of me. Like they actually couldn't take them off. And I woke up and I was just like, did that just happen? And I just remember the bed was so high, I rolled off of it and I fucking slammed my whole front of my body like so hard.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. And I started laughing at myself because I'm like, I just fucking fell off of a bed. What the fuck? So I get up. I am holding onto the wall. I am rolling myself on the wall, looking for them. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this didn't happen. Like, that didn't happen because I was in the room by myself.
Yeah.
This did not happen. And I hear her, like, if she's throwing up. So I'm like, oh my God, like, she's sick. So I start banging on the bathroom door and I'm like, open it up, open it up. I can help, I can help. Put her in the shower, put her in the shower. She's really fucked up. Like, put her in the
Uh-huh.
shower. And I, like, I couldn't open it. So I went around to her room. And in her room, they had another bathroom door. So
Uh-huh.
it was a double. So I went and I was able to open that one. Open it. She's sucking his dick. Full on sucking his dick.
Fucking dirty ass bitch.
And I go in and I'm like, what are you doing? You have a boyfriend. His his best friend is your boyfriend.
Nasty whore.
I'm like,
Nasty
are you fucking
bitch.
kidding me? So I go and I black out.
Oh shit.
I wake back up. I have her pinned against the wall and I am literally like this, choking her.
Holy fuck. Should have killed that bitch. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not what I mean. I'm sorry.
And then I black out and
No, because I know the bitch.
I see somebody
Yeah.
grab me and she's all like, you need to get off my sister and stop. You need to call your mom. Call your mom or your dad to come pick you up because I did not know she was in the house the whole time. The older sister was actually in the back room's in the back room in her parents' room the whole time, but she did not know her sister brought people over.
That's a lie. That's a damn lie. She was probably sucking dick too. Dirty
Probably,
bitch.
probably fuckingly. I don't know. Well, I ended up calling that boyfriend that broke up with me because
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified of calling my parents.
Yeah.
So I called him and I said, to be honest, in my head, I told him what happened. Like
Well,
I
yeah.
physically thought I said every word. He said it was so mumbled that he didn't understand anything besides his best friend. Well, his not best friend, but his friend's name,
Uh-huh.
my friend's name, and where I was, and that someone touched me. And I wanted to go home. That's all he heard. He literally, I don't know how he got there so damn fast, but it felt like it was like this. Well, all I remember is that after the phone, they snatched the phone from me, asked me who I called, and I said nobody. Then they threw me in the shower because I was too drunk, and they said I was sloppy drunk and that I was being too much and causing too much drama. So then my ex-boyfriend ended up coming, picked me up, literally carried me out of the house. The sister calls the police and says that all these people are in the house. and that they broke into the house and that they're trying to beat her sister and that one of us tried to kill her. It
Dramatic.
Dramatic.
Dramatic, skinny
So
bitches.
literally, my ex.
No offense to anyone that's skinny.
My ex, before he walked in the house, he pushes the door open and I can hear him yell at his friend, "Did you fuck her? Did you fuck her? Did you touch her?" And he's all like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Like that. Simple, blank, period, like that. My ex-boyfriend and his friend are literally carrying me, like underarm and kind of like dragging me.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get me to where you guys used to be at.
Yeah.
The babysitters,
mm-hmm.
which was a few blocks down. Well, a police officer that we did not know was a police officer, was an undercover cop, picked us up and was like, "This girl is on something, drugged or drunk."
Mm-hmm.
But the lady kept saying, "I think she got roofied. It looks like she got roofied."
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
They take me to the house.
Mm-hmm.
They put me on the lawn and they water hose the fuck out of me again.
Yeah.
But in full reality, I personally think if I would have got a rape kit done, if I would have got a date rape drug done, it would have came back positive.
Probably.
But how was I going to be that drunk and explain that to my mom?
Yeah.
So 3 days later, because that's when it wore off and that's when I felt better, was 3 days later.
Yeah, after we like showered you and we got you like
it
in
was
the bed
horrible.
and yeah.
And honestly, after that, I was like, I'm not drinking anymore. So I didn't. I did not touch alcohol for a while. That's where a lot of my trauma came from too.
Mm-hmm.
Just that in general. Then trauma came behind that when I came out. A lot of trauma came out when I came out to my parents. My parents are old school OGs. They do not accept, well, they didn't accept that because they didn't grow up around it. They weren't around it. It wasn't accepted in the community, especially in the Latino and Hispanic culture. That's not really accepted.
Yeah.
So it was a lot that happened. And I ended up not being in the house no more because I ended up getting kicked out for being gay. I got kicked out of my house. I did go live with a partner that came with another trauma.
Yeah.
I went from my childhood trauma to relationship trauma more.
Yeah.
I ended up getting very abused there. There was times where, and this is gonna be new to a lot of people, especially in my family that didn't know this at all, because I'm actually just gonna put it here out in the open because I was gonna write a book about it, but you know what? Book's been on hold for like 8 years, and I'm just not gonna do it. It is just too much. Basically what happened was I moved in with her. I was with her family. We were good. Maybe about 2 months later, well, not even 2 months later, I was staying with her for a few days or a few weeks. I went back home because my mom and my dad were like, come back home. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, come back home. So I did. I went back home. Then my uncle passed away. And that was a huge toll on the whole entire family. The whole family. It was very bad. Yeah. And my dad, honestly, I know he's going to see this. I think he should have got mental help because he was not in the right headspace, because someone that he loved dearly passed away. And it hit him really, really, really hard. That when we saw it, it was terrifying.
Oh yeah.
It was extremely terrifying that we were scared all the time because he was acting out and he wasn't okay. He didn't want to be here anymore. And it was scary. It was scary to know that we could have lost someone else.
Yeah.
You know? And around that time, still, I had, again, it was just a few weeks from when I had came out. Well, actually, it was like 2 months that I had came out. And my dad still wasn't okay with it. My mom still wasn't okay with it. Like, my parents they were not okay with it. So, that whole issue happened, and I got kicked out again. And I moved back in with the girl that I was dating. And that's when the whole entire thing changed. She became super abusive, hitting me all the time, pulling my hair, literally saying that no one would ever want me, that I was ugly, I was fat, I was a whale, I was too big, nothing would fit me. She said that the clothes I wear was disgusting. And like, she hated what I wore, she hated what I looked like.
Just a hater.
Just everything was bad. It went from there to waking up with things inside of me. Waking up with, y'all can laugh, because I laugh now. I woke up with a cucumber inside of me. And the only reason why I woke up with that inside of me is because she was doing that to me.
So gross.
It got stuck. I was screaming because I was crying. It got stuck in there with the condom. It was horrifying. It was horrible. And yeah, it was just bad. Then it went from that to now we're fine. There was no abuse, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And she would leave me tied up to the bed, butt ass naked. And then she would lock the door and leave. Like, we would just get done, like, having, and she would walk out. She would leave and leave me there. One time she left to go to school. And I was sitting there.
She was a psycho.
And I was like, okay, what the hell? Like, why? What was the reason for this?
She's a fucking psycho.
Comes back home and tells me, oh, I forgot about you. I forgot that I left you like that.
Psycho bitch.
I wasn't allowed to shower. I wasn't allowed to use the restroom. I was only allowed to eat cup of noodles. And I could have a lot of water. The way I used the restroom was in her closet with a 2-liter soda cut in half.
She was fucking psycho.
That's the only way. But hey, everybody thinks that it was an amazing relationship I had when it wasn't. I was literally held hostage and I couldn't leave. She had a padlock on the outside of her door.
Yeah.
And her parents knew about this. Her parents, her siblings, they knew about this. They saw that I was in there.
Psycho.
And they didn't do anything. They didn't say anything.
They're one of the families that were like, oh, we're loving, we're this, we're that. It's like some, what's that one movie called?
I don't fucking know, but it's like a horror story, bitch.
What's that one movie?
What movie?
One of the guy running.
Talking about Texas Chainsaw?
No, I'm talking about it's new. It's a newer one. It's what the fuck is it called? The one with the white girl, and the black man.
You talking about Get Out?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what her relationship was. It was a Get Out movie.
Pretty much. Like, I could not leave even if I wanted to. And then it got to a point that I got my freedom. Yeah, I got my freedom. But when I got my freedom, I was drugged up.
Psycho bitch.
I was literally I was an addict. And again, this is not an addiction freaking video, but
it
she
comes with
forced
it.
me to do meth. And yeah, I'm going to put it out there. She forced me to do meth.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so addicted, I was on it for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't even know about this. I think not everybody knows about this, not family or anything like that. This is the first time you guys are really knowing about it.
We knew you were on something.
Yeah, obviously.
A few times that were able to see you like not down the street, but like see you in the streets.
Nah, say the truth. Down the street, I look like a fucking crackhead.
Well, she wasn't really down the street, but she was in. She was that yeah. So she wasn't down the street, but there was times that we would be able to see her at a bus stop, or she's walking down the street, and she's with the fucking psycho, and we couldn't say nothing. There was times that we tried, we were just like, let's go get her. Like, let's go,
like kidnap her.
Like, we just saw her. Like, let's go turn around and go see it. And there's times that she'll go and hide. But then again, or she'll like not look our way, or she'll like continue moving, or she'll like turn and pretend she didn't see us. Like, there was those times, but we knew she was on something. I remember there was one time that she was, I think you were at a bus stop, and she was so fucking skinny, like so skinny, and just cheetah print all over your fucking chest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about hickeys everywhere, like from like cheeks and down. And she was in a tank top. So that's how we knew those were that.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck?
But hold on. Not all of those were hickeys.
Well,
they were bruises.
Again, it was from a distance because we couldn't. She was in a position, and we knew something was wrong at a certain point because she didn't want to come home. Like, she couldn't. She looked scared. Every time we saw her, it was like she ran, or she was like pretend like she didn't know us, or pretend like she didn't see us, and we could see that like she wanted to, but she couldn't. So, because we had times that my mom or my dad screaming out the car, like, get in the fucking car, da, 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 and she's basically saying, no, I can't. Like, no. Or she'll like ignore and like walk away. And we're just like, something's wrong. Like, something's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, we knew where she was at. Most of the time. But then, when she did come home and she was, she kind of slowly spoke about it, half the time she wasn't even there. That when we were trying to go see if she was there.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we'll pass by the house and
well, there's a reason to why I wasn't there. So I actually ended up getting picked up from the police a couple times, and they sent, because I was a minor. All this is while I'm a minor.
Yeah.
I'm underage. So because I got kicked out of the house and all that happened, I ended up in foster care because of all of it. And because of like me, getting kicked out when I was young, and my parents not accepting. And because of all that, I ended up being in foster care. I was in foster care for a couple of years, but they ended up taking me off at 18.
Yeah.
But the reason why they couldn't find me on certain times was because the police would pick me up, say, hey, you're a flight risk. You're supposed to be in foster care. We're taking you back to the office. And they'll take me to the office, and boom, I was in another foster care getting sexually assaulted. Yeah, because that would happen too. That's where another fucking trauma for me was. A lot of SA. A lot of it was in foster care. And you talk to your freaking caseworker, and your caseworker doesn't do anything because you're not a child. Yeah. You're a teen. So it's like, okay, what did you do? Did you steal money? Are you sure you just didn't steal money and that's why you don't want to be there? It's like, no, they SA'd me. I don't want to be there because they SA'd me, and the mom is watching. Like, I don't want to be there. Like, listen to your foster kids. Listen to the kids that are in placement. Listen to the kids. Like,
Yeah.
really, like,
Especially the
oh
older
my God,
ones.
seriously, yes.
I've like, well, I mean, of course, it's a completely different
Yeah,
topic,
it is.
but it's like,
Sorry.
there's so many stories out there where like any kid over the age of like 12,
Yeah,
it's like,
they
oh,
don't
you're
care.
just in the system now. Like
You're a system kid that is
that's
providing money
someone's
into the
getting a check.
household.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like you're just a check. You're just, whatever. As long as you're breathing and you look okay, that's fine. Like,
Yeah. And
sometimes,
there's so many kids in the system that you
oh
can
yeah.
take care of. Anywho, we're not getting off topic. But because I was in the system, that's why they couldn't find me that much. And then I ended up coming back and still going through my addiction, abuse, and all of that. Then finally, we ended up living with my parents with her for a little bit. And
That shit didn't last long
it did not last long
at all.
because she was very abusive towards everyone. So, one, my siblings got to see the first hand of me getting abused. They saw that she jumped on top of me and was beating the fuck out of me, and they even jumped in. All my brothers jumped in, pulling her hair, trying to get her off of me, and she's literally pushing them off, and like while she's still fucking me up. Well, because I was still on drugs and all of that, I was chasing her, telling her, don't leave, like, please, like, come on, whatever. Ended up back at her mom's house and we were staying over there. Finally, well, not finally, but she got in a car accident. I was taking care of her. When she got in that car accident and I was taking care of her, she started slowing down the drugs, obviously, because you're taking other medications and other drugs. And I ended up starting to wake up with like butcher knives on my throat, and her telling me that she saw me having sex with her brother 2 minutes ago when I haven't even gotten up. I was actually asleep. I was not doing anything. And that day, her sister actually walked out of the room and saw all of that happen. Her sister took it in her own hands and was like, you need to go stay with our other sister. Go get your birth certificate, your social security card, and you need to leave. And you're not allowed to come back to this house. Went to that other sister. That other sister did help me get my social security card and my birth certificate. She actually paid for it because I didn't have money. She paid for all of that for me, helped me get my ID. She let me stay at her house until I got all of that stuff. Once I got all that stuff, she's like, okay, she's coming back here and visiting. I need you to leave now. So she told me about this shelter program, and I left and I went to the shelter, and I was there at the shelter. I was doing good. Good. I met a bunch of people, amazing people. I had trauma still there. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, no one tried to hurt me. No one tried to like make me feel uncomfortable or anything like that. That shelter was amazing.
Yeah.
It was. Um, then I woke up one morning. Actually, before I woke up that morning, a couple weeks before that, I was getting phone calls, and it was her. And I don't know how she found the shelter. If that shelter is a very closed shelter, it doesn't even have its name on there. It doesn't even have nothing, like, at all, like, whatsoever. Like, yeah, I don't know how she got it, but she ended up finding the phone number. She called me, started looking for me, and I just hung up the phone. Then, back to that morning that I'm waking up, I woke up with a burning sensation. No, she asked before that. She asked to meet, and I said okay. Even though she was crazy and all that, I told her okay. Met with her. She said, "Do you want to go to Vegas?" Mind you, I'm still not sober. I'm not. I was not sober. I was like, Vegas? Hell yeah, let's go to Vegas. Like, why not? It's an adventure. She probably changed. It's been a couple months. She's changed. She's a changed person now. We literally panhandle. If you don't know what panhandle means, it basically you're asking for money. You go on the street saying, hey, I need $1 for food. Hey, I need $1 for water. Hey, I need this. I need that. I did that with her. That's how we got to Vegas. We get to Vegas. We have nothing. We're like, where are we going to stay? Where are we going to sleep? So we slept at bus stops. We slept at churches. We slept in front of casinos. Like, we slept places. Like, we figured it out. Finally, we met a couple. Amazing. And I actually still have them on my social medias, and she is amazing. She actually let us stay in her house for like a week and a half, or like almost 2 weeks. She knew something was wrong and was trying to convince me to stay, but because of my trauma and because of everything, I did not stay. Well, while we were there, one, we almost got essayed by an old man that we met at a sex shop.
Red flags.
Yeah, at a sex shop. She was like, oh my God, he's a cool old guy. Like, he's going to be like so cool and chill to hang out with. He was an owner of a bar that's in Vegas. And we went to hang out with him. He was cool. He bought us free pizza. We were talking to him, telling us how we got here, being blunt.
Yeah.
We go to his house. Red flag. We shouldn't have went to his house. He's doing coke. He wants us to do coke. I'm honestly like, I did not want to do coke.
Like party.
I hit it a little bit, but then I blew the rest out, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because I was scared that it was laced with something and he was going to try to like do something to us. Well, he tried to do something to her. I fucking literally scratched the fuck out of his hand. She beat the shit out of me. I left, and that's how we met the lady. We met the lady. The lady helped us get back to California. Once we get to California, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, we're completely done. I don't want to talk to you. I don't even want to be friends with you. I go back to the shelter that same morning. I wake up with a burning sensation on my back. It's a fucking taser. I was getting tased while I was asleep. Getting tased. Talking about, hey, first of all, how the fuck did you get into the shelter when there's 45 people that live in this house? Turns out that 2 of the guys got really drunk the night before and left the back door open because they were outside still. They were sleeping on the couch that was outside because nobody came into the property. It was a big ass house and everybody knew not to come in.
Psycho.
So she comes in, she finds my room, whatever, and she fucking tases me. Tells me, come on, let's talk. Well, at that time, I didn't wear pants to sleep because I was comfortable and I was comfortable there. And the room that I slept in was all women, and they were older women, and they were not disrespectful whatsoever at all. Well, I get off the bunk bed and I tell her, okay, I'll hang out with you. I'll talk to you, whatever. She's like, no, I just need you to take me to the train station because I got lost.
Psycho.
How the fuck did you get here? Oh, I got here on the train. Okay, I'll take you to the train station. So we're walking. We'll probably walk like already 5 minutes away from the shelter. And she sees a laundromat and says, hey, I need to go to the bathroom there. I need to pee. I need to pee so bad. And I was like, I just want to take you to the fucking the train station and go back and lay back in bed because I'm tired. I've been up for 7 days because I'm on drugs, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm still on drugs. Like, I'm still actively smoking here and there. I'm back and forth smoking. So we go into the bathroom and something told me don't lock the door, don't close it, don't put the chain on it because it had the 2 locks, the 2 like bolt locks,
the top and bottom,
and then it had that little chain lock. Mm-hmm. I didn't put any of them. I didn't press any of them. I was like, nah, fuck that. Something's weird. Like, it's weird. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel weird. I didn't hear her. You know how when you can hear like someone's pants going down and when
Uh-huh.
their ass hits the toilet. I didn't hear any of that. And I was like, what are you doing? And I turned around. She's charging at me with a fucking steak knife, talking about if no one can have you, no, if I can't have you, no one can.
Psycho.
Charging at me. So I didn't notice that the first time she went back and went like this, she already had stabbed me. Then she tried the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time she went back and I felt like a hit like that, like on my chest. You know when you get socked really hard?
Uh-huh.
That's how I felt. I felt like I got socked right here. And I was like, shit. And I looked at my hand and I was bleeding. I was like, did you fucking stab me? The fact that I didn't feel the pain
Mm-hmm.
because I was on so much drugs, I didn't feel the pain at all. And I was just like, you fucking stabbed me. What the fuck is your problem? Literally, that's how I was. I didn't have no other reaction. And she's like I said, if I can't have you, no one can. And then she goes, I see you fucking a guy right now. You're fucking him as I'm talking to you right now. And I said, what? What are you talking about? There's no one here but you and I. And she's literally like, yeah, you're fucking somebody right now, and I could see them. And I'm like, no one is here. Nobody's here. And she goes and tries to stab me again. At that third time that she tries to stab me, I finally was like, fuck this. I grabbed the knife from the sharp end and I grab it. And I did something that my dad's friend showed me a long time ago. He always showed us this, like, to defend ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed it, and since she's coming at me this way, I pushed her inner arm and I pushed it that way, pushed her arm behind her, so her wrist is like this
Yeah.
behind, and I lift up this part of her arm all the way the fuck to her back of her neck, and she drops the knife, and I grab it right away, open I open the door, and I like throw the knife on the floor, and I run really fast. I'm thinking I'm running really fast, and I kid you not, it felt like I was, you know, when you're running in a dream.
You're like, you're not
No,
going nowhere.
you're like this,
Uh,
like,
there's two different ones. Sometimes I'm like, I'm running so fast, and I'm like, I didn't move. And then sometimes
yeah,
I'm like, and same with that one, we're just like, oh
that's how I
my god.
felt.
And like, it's like,
But your
heavy breathing.
heart feels like it's
Like, yeah, like you're fucking
well,
speeding.
that's how I was, and I was just like, come on, I can do this. And then I see a lady, and I'm like, help me, and she's like, no. She was a Asian, Japanese, Filipino, I don't know, but she was out of one of those. And she's like, don't bring your drama here. And I was like, I'm bleeding. And then I turn around and she's right there, and I'm like, literally, like, I gotta cross the street and go back. And I crossed the street, and I cut through the alley, and I made it back to the shelter. One of the ladies that was our cook, she was very sweet. She saw me and she goes, oh my God, who did this to you? And I just remember collapsing on the stairs, blacking out. I'm in the hospital now. And I hear, yeah, it was two girls. Two girls, did this to her, and they only got away because I was meeting her halfway from the train station.
Oh, what the fuck?
And I wake up completely, and I'm like, and I could feel someone's hand holding me, and I'm like,
Psycho bitch.
and I open my eyes, and I see the nurse, and I see a police officer, and I look, and she's standing right there, and she's telling this whole story, and I'm like, like, no, but I couldn't talk because they had gave me so much medication. Not only that, but I was on my shit that I was on. So I'm like, fuck. So finally, I got away from her, long story short, because it is a long story. She got really upset. She wanted to leave the hospital, but I needed my meds, and she sticked her finger into my stitches where I got stabbed, and then I ran for the bus, and she ran after me, got on the same bus, and I was like, God damn it. Finally, in downtown LA, It's 6 in the morning. Over there they have police officers that are on bicycles. Well, I ended up seeing one and telling him like, she just stabbed me. She doesn't leave me alone. She doesn't stop following me. I'm just trying to go home. Blah 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 blah. And I finally get, he's all like, he's holding her. He's like, ma'am. He's going like that. I run across the street, get on the bus, and I go back to the shelter. I tell the main lady, and I'm like, hey, this happened. This is what really happened. I'm telling everybody in the house, and they're like, okay, you cannot sleep in the house.
Yeah.
We need to put you in a room where you're not going to get touched. So they ended up putting me in the room of the manager's room. And they have a lock and everything from the inside, and they locked the door, and they had me in there. So I had that trauma where I didn't trust anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't trust anybody. So when I called mom and I told her everything that was happening. She was like, oh my God, come home.
Yeah.
Like, forget all this, come home. What nobody knows is that when I did go home, I slept with a knife under my fucking pillow on the fucking couch.
Yeah.
Not only that, I was still actively using. I was still using, but I was terrified. Terrified. Yeah, there was no that toxicity in the house anymore. Yeah. There wasn't any abuse anymore in the house. Like, it calmed down a lot from my childhood to now, to that point. That trauma and that abuse calmed down. I want to say like 70%. Yeah. Like, it was still there. I would still hear the yelling and the screaming and the getting mad, but it wasn't as bad as it was when we were younger.
It fluctuated a lot. It went like, it was really bad, and it was like down, and it was like really, really bad, and it was like good, and it was like really, really bad.
Yeah. And then, and then I ended up meeting someone else and got traumatized with that as well.
God,
but
another psycho bitch.
But before that, like, trauma happened, I was still actively using. Yeah. That's the problem too. And then I went from actively using to being an alcoholic again. I went to drinking every day. I went to doing that every day. So I was crossing both of them every single day. Yeah. Until when I met my ex, her found my stash. And when you guys found my stash, I remember you telling me, you need to get sober. You need to get sober, and you can't be doing this anymore. Yeah. Because it's hurting us. It's hurting. And if mom and dad find out, it's going to be bad. Mind you, she was only 12, 13.
Yeah, I think somewhere around that age.
She was that old, okay? So that happened, and then my ex found out, and she also was like, well, if you don't stop doing it, I'm going to do it too. Yeah. And she was like, I want to try it. And I was like, no.
I didn't fucking know that. What the fuck?
And she was like, I want to try it. So she wanted to try it so bad. So fucking bad. But I didn't want to put that trauma onto her. I didn't want her to have that. Oh my God. So she threw because I told her she couldn't do it, she threw my fucking pipe in the back. And then she threw my 8-ball. Some of y'all addicts know what 8-balls are. She threw my 8-ball down the toilet. It was a lot of drugs.
Yeah, but it's like, I know it was a lot of drugs.
But her wanting to do it is another type of trauma, man.
I'm stuck on that. Like, what the? Okay, knowing what I know now and how things turned out, just on that situation, it's fucking mind blowing. Like,
yeah. And I did get sober.
Psycho bitches.
Yeah, I did get sober.
They're not even lesbians.
Oh yeah, they're not even lesbians. This is another story. I'm traumatized. Y'all bisexual women. Y'all bisexual women. I'm tired of y'all bisexual women pretending to be lesbians. Just come out as bisexual women. Y'all traumatizing the fuck out of the lesbian community.
That's crazy.
I'm tired of it. My recent ex is fucking bisexual.
Yeah.
And her new partner doesn't even realize that.
No, I'm pretty sure the partner knows. Because I'm pretty sure they're both getting dick down.
I mean,
trauma is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's another trauma too. That's another trauma. If you know that you're a jealous person, person, don't you dare put yourself in a throuple. First of all. Second of all,
So
you
warning
have
now.
morals. You have respect. You're loyal. You're an honest person. Don't be in a throuple, because I'm going to tell you.
Not even that. Fuck all that shit. If you don't like sharing your partner,
that part.
If a thing in your mind goes, nah, I ain't no sharer, stick with it.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Even though there's that small percentage like, oh, maybe.
If they can do it, they can do it. And you know what? I was part of that percentage that was like, maybe. And I tried it for a year and a half. And I'm going to tell you right now. Narcissism.
All the way.
At its finest. And that's another traumatizing thing, is where you think someone loves you and doesn't love you. That is traumatizing, because it affects my relationship right now. It affects it to a fucking T. Because y'all bitches love traumatizing people. Y'all bisexual women like to traumatize people. Especially, like I said, you traumatize the lesbians, the real lesbians in our community. You traumatize them. And this is not bashing bisexuals. Just, if you're bisexual, say you're bisexual.
Yeah.
Don't sit here and be like, you're a true lesbian.
Secretly think about pee-pee. If you secretly think about pee-pee, you're bisexual.
And don't just say what the other person wants to hear. Please. Also, if your partner is asking your siblings or their family members, how does a dick feel like, and they're supposed to be lesbians, please take that as a sign. Take that as a fucking sign. Or if you find that they're fucking emailing their vagina to a man.
We're getting off topic.
It's traumatizing. What do you mean? That's trauma.
I even had to use the full name. God dang it, I didn't realize it, but...
You used the full name?
I used your full name.
Oh, it's okay. I don't really care. But what I'm saying, it's traumatizing.
It is traumatizing.
Because it's traumatizing in relationships. It puts you in a bad space in relationships.
I think that it's not just also that. It's also the fact that we can backtrack a little bit.
Okay,
backtrack to like parents. It all starts. I'm not gonna say it all starts with the parents, but that is the first portion of it.
Yep.
So it does suck that we gravitate towards these people that lie and manipulate and all these other things, because either we see it in our parents' relationship, or we see it around us in our adult like moral. What the fuck?
The mimosas is kicking. Because it's kicking my ass right now.
What the fuck? Now I feel like I can't say the word.
Role models.
What the fuck? Role models or like adult figures. If their relationship is how we see at a young age, that's how we sometimes think in the future that's what it needs to be. So and I feel like it has to do with maybe the way our parents were towards each other, that a lot of lying was involved and other things, that maybe that's why we believed a lot of liars and we were manipulated half the time of a lot of these relationships that we're in. Now, the relationships that we in now, 20 plus years later, after the fact, After the oh my God.
This is so cute.
But after the fact of like understanding our trauma, accepting our trauma, talking about it, living it, everything, we're in better situations. So if you are in a fucked up situation or a fucked up home, you have ways to get out of that.
You do.
And I'm not talking about leaving the house or going somewhere else. No, I'm talking about you can live through that and still survive after.
Yeah.
There's so many survivors for physical, mental, emotional, verbal, all of above.
Also, if you are in a DV relationship or if you're in anything like that and you do want to get out, there is ways for you to get out.
Yeah.
Every state has a DV line. Every state. Okay? We'll go ahead and put it in our subscriptions at the bottom on our details. We'll go ahead and put that information. Also, when people think about DV, they also think that they also think about suicide. That's not the way to go.
It's not. And I'm talking about just in general, not just for DV. I'm talking about being bullied or having some type of trauma either in families or at school or in just the placement that you're in your life.
Because of trauma.
Or online. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like online is one of our generations now.
Oh my God,
where
yes.
it's a big thing.
That's one for me because I just got traumatized last year.
Like that is another trauma that you can have. And there are places that you can go, or not even places, just people that you can talk to and everything where you can get through that.
Yeah.
Ending things because you think it might be better is not the way to go. It's not. Because a lot of people, I mean, I go by this saying a lot. And this is in all situations, not just in the topic that we're going through now. It's all situations. This is in general. There is always somebody in a worser situation. Meaning it could be someone has less food than you. Someone has less housing than you. Someone has less health than you.
Someone has no family.
No family. Someone has more of an abuse. And technically, because we lived in the same household for many, many years, you can see the difference on how it affects two different people.
Yeah.
And how the route goes and how we still end up in a very good situation, in a very where it's just amazing now, where it's like we're able to live through this. We're able to accept what happened. We're able to talk about it and not sit here and cry or let it get to us emotionally. Yes, we have our days where we're just like, holy shit, we went through all that. Like, what the fuck? Like,
and we didn't even get it. Honestly, I'm going to tell you here now, we did not get into depth of every single thing we've ever.
No, at all. We didn't get into any details.
All we said was what we went through, but in a big astrospect. Like, we didn't even go into like little tiny details where, yeah, this happened and this is the memory that we have, or this happened. No. The only thing that I did get into was like the main huge abuse like situation that I did go through where I did physically get stabbed. That's where it's a trauma for me. And then my SAIDs.
Yeah.
Like, those are all traumas.
There's more to it. It's like, it's like we just read the title to our life to you without actually reading the book.
That's true.
In other words. So it's like there's more that comes to it. There's more details that, of course, who knows if we'll ever get into, especially posting on social media. I mean, we don't mind sharing certain stories. We don't mind.
We want to be transparent with you.
Yeah.
But to an extent, because there is certain things that we like to keep private. Because we like to keep certain things private.
And there's nothing wrong with keeping things private. There's nothing wrong with someone that, if you're watching this and you have similar situations or you have none, either way, you still have secrets.
Yeah.
Secrets that you would probably never put on social media or to the public or talk to with a stranger.
That's true.
But then there are some stories that you can be like, I've accepted it. I know what it is. I know what it's not. I've dealt with it, and I can sit here and tell you. And I can sit here and tell a stranger. I can sit here and tell the world what it is and what it's not, because I know what's true. I know what I've gone through. I know what it is.
That's true.
So, of course, everything comes with judgment. Everything comes with opinions. Everything comes with so much stuff. But our message and reason why we put this out here is because trauma is normal.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. Yeah, it's okay to have triggers. It's okay to not feel safe. It's okay to feel like, damn, it's.
I didn't even say my triggers.
Oh.
I didn't. Holy shit.
Do you want to say a few of them?
Huh? How do you know?
Just hearing things. But yeah, you can definitely.
Yeah, so I didn't get into my triggers. My triggers are a little, I'm going to just give a few of them. So one of my triggers are like promises. Like, please don't promise me anything, because I know that promises don't exist. For me, I feel like promises, like if someone promises me something, it's hard for me to believe it, and it's hard for me to take it in. That's one. Two, super, super loud noises, or like banging. Mm-hmm. Like if I hear banging on the wall, or like just banging in general, or if someone slams a door. Oh my God, if someone slams a door, that is terrifying to me. I instantly go into a trigger. Yeah. If someone raises their voice at me, I instantly go into a trigger. If I hear a kid screaming, instantly go into a trigger. If I hear a man and a woman yelling at each other, actually just anyone yelling at each other, that is in a relationship, instantly triggered. Showering is another one for me. If I'm in the shower and I know people are awake, I can't. Yeah. It's really, really hard for me to shower when people are awake.
Like me now, I think showering is like, I can shower whenever, if I know that someone's in the next room.
Yeah.
Like,
or in the room with me.
Like, for example, like I enjoy showering knowing that my partner is either like literally standing in the bathroom with me, or we're showering together.
Yep.
I get more of a comfort with that than me showering by myself.
That's me. I have to have either someone in the bathroom or my partner showering with me, or at least my door unlocked. That's another trauma. Locking doors.
No.
That's a huge trauma for me. Is I need to lock my door. I need to lock.
I'm the opposite. I can't have closed doors. I don't like them. I don't like closed doors. I don't like locked doors. I hate that when I can't get into where I feel like I should. So it's
more of like me, it's for sleeping. It's like I need to have my door locked for sleeping.
Yeah, I know for you it's like you have to have your door closed to sleep. Me, it's like I have to have my door open, because I need to be able to, if I have to go to the next room, I closing the door and opening it, I feel like it
creates a barrier.
Yeah. So with me, it's like I have to have all the doors open, like nothing locked, nothing where I have access to everything.
Even the bathroom door, like I know that's like, I know like when you're in your own, like when you're here at the house, like you don't need to lock the door because no one's gonna really go in. I have that issue that I lock the bathroom door all the time.
No, me, I see, that's the thing. Even with the bathroom doors, I love that my bathroom is in my room, because I can just keep the door open. Like I don't even close my closet. Like I have all my doors open.
I noticed that.
And it's just because for me, it just feels more safe. I don't know if it's like that makes sense.
It does make sense. Well, not only that, but you have a kid though.
Yeah.
So you have to also worry about him if he's okay.
Yeah, because my thing was like we were so used to of like doors closing behind, certain things that were happening behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Or like, feel like you can't get to that point where it's like, you can't get in, and it was like always a panic. So that's why I love the doors being open. But I know for you, it's like you have to have them closed.
Yeah.
So I've learned to accept that you like to have them closed. We lived together for so long. So, but for me, it's like I have to have them open. Like I have to have like at least my door cracked.
Well, I know you noticed like when we lived in Utah too, I would tell you close your door.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if we had people like in the house or we
not
had
even
guests.
that. I would tell you automatically. Like if we were all drinking and stuff, I would be like, close your door, lock it.
Yeah, I think that's the only
seriously.
That's the only time. That's the only time I like that's the only time I actually closed and locked my door, because for you it felt more safe for you. For me, I hated being in a closed room. I hated it. Like I did not like it. But I'm like, it helped because I was going to sleep. Other than that, my door was always open.
Yeah,
my door was never
fine.
closed. Unless we had people over and I closed my door, but I'm not in the room. Like we just close all the doors. But like once I moved out, never again I closed my doors.
Yeah.
Besides my front door, I always had something extra lock on there or something. Like I always make sure that all my windows were locked. But then again, that was just my safety because I was living alone. But after that, I just didn't really care. Like once I got my partner and we started living together, it was more of a safety because now I have a man in the house. I know that's going to protect me.
I guess my trauma too was like a lot that I had was like when my ex would go to your house.
Okay.
But it was more of like, I hope Lucy's okay.
Well,
like that was like, for me, I knew she wasn't going to do anything to you.
No, yeah, but for me, it was like, that's why anytime anyone, like literally anyone came over, it was always during the day.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really like people coming over at night because knowing that was like, it was by myself. I had to open the door at night. I had to make sure like it was you. I had to go to the people and my fucking thing and all that. So I was just like, yeah, no. So that's why everything was like during the day, unless it was like family coming over and it was like a group of people, then I felt a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, trauma is, we still live it. Everybody, no matter how young, how old, things happen to you and how good you gone through it or got through it or healed from it, there's always going to be triggers. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be, it's never going to go away at all. I've learned
even phrases too.
Like,
and you have to tell your partner or your friends or somebody that you're going to be with all the time. Let them know your phrases that trigger you. Like mine's just like, or just look at me when I'm talking to you. Like that's a huge trigger for me. I get instantly either really pissed or I'd be like, I don't want to talk anymore. Like I don't want to have a conversation with you anymore if you tell me that. I just can't. I can't.
I don't think he ever said that to me. Well, I'm talking about my partner. I don't think he ever.
It's like partner or even like people around you. Like I can't do it.
I don't think I have any of that. I don't think that. I want to say that's one. That's not one of my triggers when it comes to like words. I can't think of any right now, but I do have a few.
Like words?
Yeah, like triggers? Actually like phrases or like words or like tones.
Oh,
definitely tones are a big trigger, and then like moods. Also, like certain moods will like put me in like it'll make like my weird mood. Yeah. Like I'll just feel like, okay, I gotta close myself in somewhere,
isolate myself.
But I mean, like I said, like you're always gonna go through something. You're always gonna, you just now. I feel like what helps now. Go over there, baby. Cause you naked. Naked boy.
He just don't got a shirt on.
But yeah, what I was saying was damn, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. But I mean, you're not. No one's alone. No one's alone in any. And if you feel alone, trust me, you're not. you know.
Everyone has trauma, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Again, it is okay.
Yeah. It's not, there's nothing wrong with healing from your trauma or trying to understand it at a later time.
Also, I just want to input this. Because you have trauma, it does not mean it is okay for you to do what other people have done to you, to someone else. Please, a lot of people misconcept it and say, well, I have trauma doing this, and I have trauma because it's done this to me. Do not do it to the next person. It is not fair to them. It is not fair to you. You will lose people like that or get yourself into really big trouble because you do not know who you're dealing with. And if they also have trauma.
Yeah.
Remember,
you don't know.
Everybody has trauma.
Yeah.
Every single person. And just because the next person is not completely healed from it doesn't mean that you can bash them.
Yeah. No.
Help them, especially if they're your partner, because I know a few people that were in a relationship and actually broke up with their partners because they had trauma.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to deal with it. And I get it. Some people don't want to deal with it.
And that's fine.
And that's okay.
And for the people that don't want to deal with it, can't deal with it, and feel like it's too much for them, that is okay. And just at least communicate that with them. Like, hey, look, it is too much for me. I can't deal with it. I do apologize. And let them know. Let them know that you can't. Don't just be like, oh, you're trauma. Like, you have a lot of trauma, and
this is too much.
This is too much for me, or you're too much, or you're too emotional, or you're too this, or you're too that. Like, you're adding more trauma to someone by saying that, and you're making them feel like, damn,
they shouldn't even have opened up to you.
Or more the fact where it's like, I shouldn't even have a partner because I'm too much. Yeah. Like, I gotta find someone that's able to handle me and all that. No, like, if you can't handle somebody, that is okay. Communicate that with them and let them move forward. Now, the person that has the trauma is someone that they know that they come with baggage. Sometimes it's good to let the person that you try to talk to, or you have some interest in, let them know, like, hey, I come with a lot of baggage. And if you're willing to stay because you actually really like me and you want to get to know me, then let's go ahead and get this, let's move forward.
There is people out there that are willing to be there for you.
Yeah. I mean, there's good people out there. Not everyone's shitty. Just some people are just not for your situation, or some people are just not for you. And that is still okay. Like I didn't think I was ever going to be able to find my person, and the person that will be able to understand and hear my stories and actually, like, feel something, or not say like, oh, you're too much, or you come with baggage, or oh, I gotta be careful what I say and what I do around you. Like, I never thought I was gonna be able to find someone that would be able to deal with that, but I have. It took some time. It took some heartbreaking and fucking crying and being alone and isolated.
Well, at least you're not in your 30s.
Hey, some people it takes it early, and some people it's a little later on. That is also okay. Like, like I was saying, I think I just remember now. You don't have to heal from your trauma right away. You don't. Mm-hmm. Live your life. Don't live your life trying to heal yourself. Because as you keep going and as you make yourself happy, you will heal in general. Just overall, you will heal and you will find your peace. And once you find your peace, those stuff that you went through might come back and hit you like a bus and make you feel all these emotions. But you'll be strong enough to be able to go through that.
You're not given something that you cannot handle.
Yeah. At all.
And you're never too much. Always remember that. You are never too much of a person.
You are always enough. No matter how much you give, no matter how much a percentage you give to whoever you're trying to give to, or even if you give yourself, you're always enough. Sometimes it takes certain people more time than others, and that is completely okay.
Just love yourself, give yourself enough care. Make sure you be patient with yourself as well. A lot of people forget about that. Just give yourself patience. You can do it. You can heal from your trauma.
Loving yourself and accepting your life the way it is, but mainly loving yourself, mainly finding what you love to do. Learning more about yourself in general is the perfect starter.
Yeah.
For anyone that wants to go on the healing journey.
And if you're not happy with what you have in your life right now or what you're doing with your life, change it. You're the only one that can change your life. You're the only one that can make it better. Don't ever depend on someone else to make it better for you. You can do it by yourself. And if you're not happy with the job, you're not happy with your career, your weight, your partner, your house, your car, anything that you have in your life, change it. Do it.
Period.
Do what you've been dreaming for. Literally.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Go, go. You can do it. You can do it. You can fucking do it.
Yes. And
get
if no
that
one's
ass
supporting
up
you,
and fucking
right?
do it.
And if no one is being your biggest supporter,
be your biggest supporter. Go in that mirror, because I do this to myself too. Okay, it's not weird. I talk to myself. I go in the mirror and I say I'm a bad bitch and I can do it and I can do all this stuff and I manifest stuff, and guess what? It happens and it makes you feel good. If it has to come from, if the words of you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, you're all these good things, if it has to come from you, then that's enough.
Yeah,
that should be enough. If that's not enough for you, then baby, there's a lot of growing you got to do.
Yeah,
because words to yourself from within should be enough to get you through the day. And if it's not, girl, go on TikTok or go on Instagram, because I be doing the same thing. If I type in motivation or what is it? What's the fucking thing called? What's the other thing called? Where it's like, I'm beautiful, I'm this, like words of encouragement, words of affirmation, all those. Search that shit up and watch at least like 5 to 10 videos. And I promise you, at the end of that, you will feel good and say every single one of the videos that you watch and say it out loud, and it will make you feel so much better. If you need that push, there's your push.
It's a manifestation thing.
Yeah.
It's a manifestation thing, and manifest that.
If I can do it and she can do it, you can do it. We can do it together. But of course, like I said, this video was going to be completely different. This video it was not going to be as hyped as we would love it to. But of course, when it comes to trauma and things that you've gone through in life, it's not an easy to say it with a smile. It's not easy to talk about it and be in a good mood. Like, of course, it always brings back some type of sadness. And that is okay, because it's part of life, honey. It is. Like, you could talk about having a bad day. It's going to put you in a mood because you're like, damn, I had a bad day that day. But then you realize, look at you now. To everyone that's been through something, look at you now.
You're not in the same situation that you were last year.
And even if certain things are bad or you don't feel like you're in a better spot, honey, man, boy, girl, whatever, you're in a better spot than you were a week ago, a day ago, 2 weeks ago. Because, honey, you woke up. Baby, you woke up. You got your day started. You went to your shitty ass job. You got into your shitty ass car. You got into that shitty ass bus. You got into all whatever transportation you have. You got it. You did it. You went. Now, if you work at home, you got yourself out of bed. And if you did it, and if you're still in bed, your eyes are open. You probably went to go get food. I'm sure you went to the bathroom. You got up. Everyone has a different way of healing. Everyone has a different way of living life. Everyone is on their own journey.
Like I said before, any accomplishment is an accomplishment. No matter how small.
Yeah, no matter how small it is. Even if you have to reach over and grab your water from your nightstand or on the floor, you pick it up and drink some water. Boom, accomplishment, honey. Because guess what? You could have just not done it. You could have just stayed in bed. You could have just
That's also another video for mental health, which we'll get into another video.
Yeah.
And get into talking about that as well, because we do have some topics and conversations about that. But I think that's all of our trauma for today.
Yeah, y'all got a little sneak peek. Y'all got a little taste of things that we did, and that's okay. And of course, if y'all want more, y'all know what to do. Comment down below. Let us know what you want to talk about. Let us know if you want to get into, if you want to
subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe.
How many times do we have to tell you? Subscribe, because we're almost at 50 followers. You know how exciting that is?
I know. I'm so excited. Please get us at 50 followers, at least by our 10th video. Next Wednesday will be our 10th video.
Oh
so
God.
Please, yes. And then we have a special announcement on our 9th video. So stay tuned for... Oh my God, no. This video is actually coming out on Sunday.
Yeah.
So the 10th video actually comes out on Sunday of the next following week.
Yeah, so we have 2 weeks actually. I think 2 weeks, right?
So this Sunday and then next Sunday, so it's a week.
Oh, so about a week.
So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned for next Wednesday's video. Wednesday that's coming up, because this is already a Sunday video. So
because that would be what? Hold on.
Let's give them a date. Let's give them a date.
So we
are looking at Wednesday, April 2nd is our 9th video. So that 9th video, there'll be a special announcement on that video. So please stay tuned on that video so you can hear about what's happening for the 10th video.
And again, we post every Wednesday and Sunday at what, like
6 p.m. East Texas time. So that's
Central Time. Central Time.
Yeah, Central Standard Time.
So again, thank you. We love you. Of course, like I said, this video is it's not always for everybody, but you know, if you're here watching it and you got to this point, we love you, and we hope that you enjoyed it. And of course, if you have anything to say, you know, comment down below. But yeah, we will see you guys in our next video.
Bye.